Aries, welcome back for your November reading. I trust you're well. If you're wanting to make a booking, you can go to the link directly below. The shop is also open if you're wanting to purchase anything. I have several products I've got quite a few products there actually, and it will build as obviously the purchases come through, which they have been, and thank you for those of you who have been purchasing. Now, the energy that's coming through this month is still semi-directly connected to last month. And that depends on whether you dealt with that vibrational energy. House is coming back into highlight, but it's more as a snippet to see whether everything at home is all good. So however that energy relates to you, is going to be what's going to come up into highlight for you in the month of November. Also, it's quite a heavy energy, and how you use your energy is going to be essential. Now, when I meditated on the zodiac signs and the month as a whole, the strange thing was, although it feels like a very heavy energy, and communication is going to be the key this month in some shape or form, the way in which each zodiac sign is directly dealing with that energy is sometimes quite opposite. Yours is a very interesting energy. Now, your energy is coming through a bit dominant, and that really depends on how you want to take that, for good or bad. It depends on how it's going to directly relate to your life. It feels like you're taking on a very aggressive manner in which to directly deal with an energy that you're currently going through. And it can be bringing up a lot of rubbish from the past as a trigger point. So how you're going to be dealing with it might be directly connected to a past tense scenario where it's bringing about an energetic purge, so to speak, of you actually giving people a bit of your mind. Now, it can be that you've chosen a path, and the path in which you're choosing, you're defending and you're attacking, but it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It's almost like you're saying, time out, enough is enough, this is what it's going to be, accept it, like it or lump it. Be careful with that energy though, because it really depends on the direct people who you're communicating this to and how they're going to directly take it. Because yes, you do have power in the situation, and yes, you have a right to feel that vibrationally, but is that going to bode the best for your physical outcome, for what you're planning and what you're working towards? And that's very much the message that I've got coming through for you, energetically speaking. Now, you need to pay attention to the signs in your family life and what's going on in your family. So it might be an old issue creeping up in the month of November, directly connected to your family and what is a trigger point in your family. So if you deal with it from an old perspective, the triggers are going to come up connected to that is not directly connected to the current event that's happening, if that makes sense. So acknowledge it is a past tense yuck of an aspect it's bringing up in you, in a sense of wanting to defend yourself and wanting to have what you feel is vibrationally correct for you. Stand your ground, but also acknowledge a past tense trigger that's coming through it, because that's where you can dig to the bottom and address it from a different angle. Again, you're going to need to dig deep and dig to the root of why this trigger is coming up for you. Even if this is a new scenario, pardon me, address it from a different angle, and I feel you're going to get the best out of the situation. Try not to sneak around, because that is going to be an aspect that can be coming through. But you can complete that cycle by addressing that issue directly, and you'll be able to then move forward through that energy. Now, you're being very protective, connected to cash. Now, I see a pyramid, and it's like you're wanting to build an empire. You need to question why you're wanting to build an empire. Does it make you feel safe? Does it make you feel more secure, when really directly, even when you have had abundance, has it directly made you feel secure connected to it? Or is an aspect of a trigger that's coming up in you where it's morphing into a different reality where you had outgrown this? So you've got shapeshifter. So an aspect of your fears connected to cash are directly connected to an aspect of your personality. You need to work out why it's so important. Does it equate strength, or the old paradigms of man as provider, or where you feel you fit in, and why that directly is so very relevant to you. But an aspect and a trigger point is going to come up, and it might bring an ugly sense through you in the month of November. You're not seeing the clarity or the epiphany connected to this, where it is a direct trigger, not necessarily a direct block. Stop panicking connected to your general life that something's going to happen, because you will shape shift it into a reality. And this can be in the area of money, you protecting it, and you being too focused on one area of life and not another. And it might be that you use money in order to avoid other aspects in life, that somehow that shows that you're all stable and everything is fine, when really directly internally something is physically going on. So it can be that you're morphing things into a reality. And if you're focusing on or trying to work on direct energies and pussyfoot around a situation to prevent scenarios from cropping up, you're avoiding triggers that need to come up so that you can deal with them when they come up, not manifest them into fruition, so to speak. So it's like the fear-based scenarios that you're trying to protect yourself from are what are going to come up in a sense of a trigger this month. Okay, be careful, because it's affecting you. It is vibrationally affecting you by considering every aspect. And it might be a telephone call that you get and a communication you have with a person directly that is very direct and maybe regretful after, but it is vibrationally what you felt when you had this communication with this person. So be very careful what you're putting out, because it can't be retracted back after, and it will directly impact family and money this month. So how you want to use that energy will be completely up to you. And sometimes these things do need to happen, because in order to purge them, they need to come up in a trigger point in order to get all of it out in the open so that it can be addressed as a whole. Now, I'm going to pull 3 cards for couples as to your advice at a chakra level to deal with the direct energies of what's going on around you. Now, this could be you're defending a relationship, and in the past, maybe you had chosen something that was vibrationally for you in a road within a relationship, and it didn't go as well as expected, and you had to shortchange yourself, so to speak, for other people, although maybe it didn't go as far because of certain dynamics. So you're trying to protect it, but you're overprotecting it, or you're overcompensating in some area to make it come about to protect it. That's all I'm hearing. I keep saying protection. Okay, not a trigger point, but an assessment and a decision connected to your love life will come through by Christmas, and it will be directly connected to home, because I did say that was coming up. Okay. Your mind is not as clear as it needs to be. You may need to get an amethyst or something to ground you, or get adequate sleep in order to handle a decision connected to a relationship. Visualize only what you want, not what you don't want, and it will be the most positive outcome. Connected to your home is going to come up, and that's more by Christmas. This will be in highlight. Meditate on what you're wanting, and you'll get the best possible outcome connected to this relationship and what you want to do. But make it directly connected to you. Try not to feel you need to defend it. Go with the flow and let things naturally fall where they're supposed to. If people are not going to be in agreement with your road within your relationship, that's their energy to deal with, not yours. Even if you in the past had people that were directly relating to you in a negative way. That was then, now is now. It might be an aspect they need to learn to let go of, and not your road to actually fix or tiptoe around the issue so the outcome comes better. If there is going to be a blow up connected to a meeting, I'm hearing, let it happen. Because if this is a new relationship, they might as well see what the reality is. That is their choice then, if they're vibrationally going to work with the energy or work against it. You can't make something it's not. Try not to paint that pretty picture. And if this is a more stable union, try not to protect the scenario. Deal with the energy directly rather than bubble wrapping the scenario. That's what I'm being shown. Okay, your partner is very skilled and does have the tools they need to directly deal with this energy. So they do have power in this situation as well. They can be quite sharp with their tongue if need be. So if you're concerned they can't hold their ground, or maybe you are concerned and you're concerned they're going to say something that might not be appropriate, well, you need to let the cards fall where they're going to fall and let this person deal with it. There can be gossip connected to this person or your partner, or you might hear something, or they may talk about something where you're not wanting them to and you're trying to, again, bubble wrap a scenario. Maybe you're trying to keep the flow within your relationship private, yet they're actually quite an open person and you're not liking that. Okay, this is going to give you a massive epiphany. There is a reason why everything is happening at the moment for you physically. Even if there are trigger points, there is going to be a clarity connected to this, and it is going to give you peace. Even within the storm, there's still going to bring you peace. So try and go with the flow in November. You do have sympathy connected to this situation. You have sympathy for who you were in the past and where you want to go, and to other people. And maybe that is the problem. Maybe it's that you're too fair to other people, and by trying to make the whole world perfect, which it's unable to be, you're pushing an energy to a way that is not natural. So you need to learn to go with the flow within this given scenario. Now, connected to them being who they are and you very much being maybe too sympathetic towards other energies around you, there might be delays connected to the flow of the way the relationship is going to go due to the way you both are handling the energy. Now, it does feel in November that it is an aggressive energy. The best advice I can give you is to let the cards fall where they're supposed to fall, because it's almost like not sweeping something under the carpet, physically getting it to a point where you can just get it all out in the open and have it for what it really is, not what you want it to be. You can build it to be what it needs to be, or express to your partner and people around you what you're working towards, and get on that roller coaster and keep going. This person does bring out a playful energy in you. And there is passion between you in this relationship. And you're not kidding yourself connected to this. So accept it for what it is and move forward with it and deal with it each day. Try not to panic too much about how it's going to look and if other trigger points from previous life experiences are going to hinder it or block it. Try and take it in a sense of the moment, and the trigger points externally that are coming up, directly deal with them and it will move forward perfectly the way it's supposed to, imperfectly. Singles. And if you're wanting to really dig into it, feel free to book a reading and I can help you with the energies around you. Now, sometimes this will resonate for 2 weeks. Sometimes I have energies that come through further. I do feel you making plans, couples, for the future. And there is a bit of travel on the agenda. So if you're wanting the deeper insight, you can book a reading. Singles. I feel this nagging energy around you that is somebody from the past that you were connected to, and you did feel it would go the distance, but you tried and you were like, oh, no, I'm not really keen. Now, I do feel for some of you, there might have been 3 chances, 3 attempts with 3 different people, and these people are going to start coming out of the woodworks. I do feel you wanting to be fancy free. You do like the fact that they like you, but there is one person in particular that is really irritating you, and you're just thinking, well, just let it go already. It feels as though you're avoiding their phone calls. It might be that you really don't know what to say to them, and you feel that the connection isn't there, and you don't even know how to explain to them. It's like you can't even believe it even happened in the first place. There is movement forward for you, and you are moving away from this person and towards another person. You do have your eyes set on somebody, but you're also very preoccupied by your work and things around you and building an empire. Again, I'm being shown. So for some of you, you might physically have your own business. It does feel as though somebody is going to take your eye by surprise and you're not going to expect it. And this very much does trigger an aspect in you where you think, oh, I didn't see that coming. Okay, you're going to continue doing what you were doing, and it might be that you are directly connected to a person when this other person comes about. You're going to need to balance your mind in order to make a decision connected to this. And this can be somebody from the past coming back that is triggering an aspect, or currently that you're working with, even though this new person has caught your eye. Now, you are moving aspects of ego, so it's not that you're an ego. You're seeing the whole situation very clearly, and you're realizing that your money and your empire and the things you're working on are directly impacting your love life. So you're going to go back to the table. Joy of asthma and hay fever. Okay, again, you're still focusing on cash, and you're thinking, I don't really want to just be doing all this, and I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. This can be emotional as well, where you're physically feeling that the people you're putting your energy towards just do not deserve it. And you're wanting to let go of anything that is controlling you, and any aspect of controlling the flow of the situation. And this can be cash, this can be money that you're working on, because you really want to focus on your passion. So something connected to money and love is directly coming into highlight, where you're trying to bring the balance back, and something is very much up in the air. Okay, again, and you're not letting anyone new in just yet, because you're still directly addressing scenarios around you that aren't working in your life. And it's actually blocking new people from coming in by the way you're living at the moment, because until you can change that frequency and that vibration of what you're wanting, it actually blocks it. Okay. You're focusing too much on energies that are blocking you. So your work is directly connected to an aspect and a trigger inside your life. You need to realize why. You need to work on the energy of the reason why. It can be that it is a wall that protects you, that you work in it to avoid aspects of hurt that have previously happened. So it's like the more you put your energy into your work, it's not that work is a bad thing, and it's not that building an empire is bad. It's more the point of, you've used this as a tool and now you're addicted to it. Now it feels the only safe way in order to relate. So now you're realizing you do want more than that, and the wall that you built, you actually are pulling down. It doesn't mean to say you sabotage a business you're working on, but it means you need to look at it for what it really is and stop using it as that, so you can have a physical connection. There will be communication in relation to this, and it will move forward when you address that area. And you do need to free yourself from the codependent behavior that you have going on with an aspect of the block. And then your passion can return. So, I hope you have a great month. Try to enjoy the energy and use it correctly for your future movement. Very much a lot of what is going to happen for the next 2 to 3 months is going to be directly connected to any blocks we have And by working on them and not sweeping them under the carpet, this could be done in a week. So it depends on how you directly deal with the energies and the challenges that come through to you. If you directly deal with them, the next cycle of what you need to directly address will come through, because in January, very much, if we haven't done that work, it will seep over into January, where that new foundation will only begin in February. So if you have any major plans that you're wanting to make, get paperwork finalized. Aspects of blocks and triggers and hurt, anything where your life doesn't feel yours yet, take that power back where you're moving into that. Enjoy the time you have in Christmas and New Year, although the readings will still be up around that time. And then you'll have the forward motion for January, February, for the new way that your life will start, and be quite positive in the new year. I'm feeling very positive about the new year, so thank you for the subscribers and the comments. I do read them and I do try to comment back on them, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.